So I want to show you how to be able to buy into individual companies on M1 Finance through your phone app. Now I've actually done this video on a desktop version, but I've had a lot of people ask me, how do I do this on a phone? So if you have the M1 Finance app and you're curious, hey, how do I actually buy into individual stocks? Well, this is the video for you. And if by any chance you are new here, my name is Dennis, and I love talking about apps and services that really help you build wealth. I've been personally using M1 Finance for well over a year, and I absolutely love the service. So we're gonna go into how you can buy these individual stocks instead of your overall portfolio. All right, so let's go ahead and load up the screen right over here so you guys can see what I am currently seeing. Right now, my portfolio is doing pretty good. It's sitting at $2,245. So now what I wanna do is kind of go over a little bit about the app here and then kind of go into how to buy these individual stocks. So I personally have a Vanguard S&P 500 index fund here at the very front, and then I have individual sectors, which inside of those sectors, I actually have multiple stocks. So as an example, I have my tech stock here, and if I click inside, I own multiple different companies. And then if I go out and let's go ahead and hop into the retail, we have more stocks here. And then same thing with all of these other sectors. So depending on what's going on, maybe sometimes you want to be investing into certain individual companies and not your overall pie. So one way you can technically do this is by changing the percentages for each fund if you really wanted to. So right now what you can see is for my Apple, my target and my actual are off center. So they're not exactly at the same position. So if you really wanted to, you can go in here and you can change the position. So you can see for Apple as an example, my target is 15%, but I'm only at 13.4. But doing that is going to be really tedious, and having to do that every single time you want certain amounts to go into individual stocks can be very annoying. So what you can do instead is something a little bit different. So first and foremost, we want to deposit money into our account or have money available. So right now there's only 39 cents into this account. So if I wanted to, as an example, go ahead and deposit money. So let's go ahead and click on here. And let's just say for this video's sake, we're going to do $50 into this account. So let's go ahead and do a transfer. So now I'm going to have that transferred in. And the nice thing with M1 Finance is I transfer it today, and then by tomorrow, that money's already activated into the account. Obviously, pulling it from my actual bank takes still a couple of days. So now if we look at it here, if I go into my view details for that $50, it's going to be dispersed based off of the percentages on my target and my actual. So that's how everything's being distributed. But let's say I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually want to buy into Microsoft, which is actually what I did more recently. I wanted to buy into Microsoft even though they already have a high percentage on my target. And now as you can see here, I'm at 27.9% of my actual versus my target at 22%. That's because I bought more into them. And I did that for certain reasons during my research while things were kind of going up and down in the market. So what I did was I can click on their actual fund here, and then down towards the little right-hand side, you're going to see a thing that says Manage Slice. So if I click on here, now I only have the option for buy, sell, and view details. So if I actually click on buy, this means that I can actually buy directly into Microsoft and nothing else based off of what's coming in from my deposit. So you can see here available for orders is $50.39. So I click on buy order, I can put a minimum of $10 and then put as much as I have available in my deposit. Because you can see here, if I just put $1, it'll tell me that I have to put 10. So let's just, as an example, put the 10 bucks, and I'm gonna do this again with another company too. So let's go ahead, hit continue. And then right here, it'll show you that after placing this order, I'll have $40.39. So we'll hit continue, and then we'll confirm the buy here. And then just like that, now we're gonna have a pending order for Microsoft from that original $50 all the way into just $10 to Microsoft, and then the rest gets distributed back into the percentages that we already have set up. So you can see here in the upcoming trades, 10 goes to Microsoft, and then everything else gets distributed evenly across the board based off of those percentages. Now let's go ahead and say, well, I wanna keep on investing into individual companies. So I'm gonna go back and let's go ahead and say into my consumer pie, right over here, my consumer products, I want to put more into, one of these companies. So let's say, hey, you know what? Clorox has been doing really well. I want to do more into that. Or maybe a company's not doing as well currently and you want to buy more and get a good value for them. So let's go into Clorox. Again, click on Manage Slice, hit buy. And this one, let's say I want to do $15. I'm going to hit confirm. So it'll tell you here, your total buy orders are $25 because 10 from Microsoft, 15 from Clorox. gonna hit buy, go right over here, confirm that, and now that's done. So again, we're gonna go back in, and then let's go to look our pending orders. So now we have 10 going into Microsoft, 15 going into Clorox, and then the remaining amount is now going into those additional funds, and you can see they're getting smaller and smaller as I'm adding more into these other companies. Now the nice thing is you can see the little, it's super small, so I'll zoom in the edit here, where you can see like around that consumer products, you'll see that little icon there. It's kind of like two lines crossing each other. So if I click on there, and then you could see it on Clorox, which is the company that I'm buying as an individual stock. So just kind of gives you some icon information here so you can visually see that. Now, before we continue on, if you are getting value out of this video, make sure you do me a solid and hit that like button down below. Helps out the channel to continue to grow. And if you are a big enough fan of M1 Finance or just investing in general, definitely join us on Facebook on my M1 Finance group, where we talk about different things going on with our portfolios, just sharing our insights, and just being able to have communication with each other about investing. So I'll have a link for that in the show notes down below if you guys want to come in and join. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop back into the rest of the content. Let's keep going and say, now I want to put more into my Vanguard fund. So again, I go into this one, click manage slice, and then hit buy. And let's say I do another $10 for this one. So hit confirm, and we'll go through that process. Now, what you can also do too is actually even buy into sectors as well too, or your individual pies. So let's say, because right now, I'm gonna show you guys here where I'm at. So we got 10 in Microsoft, 15 in Clorox, and then 10 in the Vanguard fund, and then everything else gets broken down just a little bit more. But now I wanna say, hey, I want to put some more money into my retail. Maybe retail's not doing as well, and maybe there's some opportunities to buy. So while I'm on the page for my overall retail, I can click on that manage pie in the bottom right, and I can click buy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another $10 because I have 15 bucks left. Actually, let's go ahead and do 15. 15.39. Can I do that? Yeah, let's do 15.39. So that'll essentially will eat up all the money, and I'm going to hit confirm buy. So now I'm not just buying into an individual stock, I'm actually buying into an individual sector as well. So now what you can see here is based off that $15 going into that next pie, the 4 biggest opportunities for me based off my percentages in that sector are Target, Costco, Amazon, and Disney. So that's where a majority of that $15.39 is going into. You could see retail. I can click on there and it'll show me that that's where my order is. Now I can cancel these if I wanted to without having to destroy that deposit that I put in. So I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and actually I'll keep that for now. So for example, let's go to Vanguard and say, you know what? I don't want to do this one anymore. So let's go ahead and cancel that. So I canceled it, and now you can see some of the other funds are starting to pop up now because that $10 is going to be redistributed. And this is happening in real time. I'm not like, cutting out and anything. This is just happening as I'm going through. So let's go ahead and let's remove Clorox now. And again, this is still with that $50 we were starting off with as well. So bam, you can see more of that, more of the different funds popping back up. Let's go ahead and take off Microsoft, and there we go. So you can see all of the funds now that weren't gonna be, having anything coming in are now getting a little bit of that money because I removed those additional individual purchases. And then again, I can remove this one as well, which is the overall sector. Or pie, and now bam, we're back to where we started with, which was the $50 plus whatever I had in the account being distributed across the board with the funds that had the lowest actual versus where their target is supposed to be. So I've had many people ask about the whole changing out the percentages when it comes to your targets and doing so if that creates a taxable event, and the answer is no. When you change your target percentage, whether it's higher or lower, it actually doesn't buy or sell into the companies until you either choose to sell out or you're actually depositing more money in. So for you to be able to actually change out those percentages, you could do it on a daily basis, you could do it on a monthly basis, or whatever works best for your investing style. So the only time it'll sell out of those positions if you're over the target is if you actually hit the actual rebalance button, and that's the only time it'll sell out. So you can be over your actual target percentage and not have to worry that it's going to forcibly sell out of those positions and buy into other ones that are lower than your target percentage. So let me show you what I mean by that. If we go back into the portfolio here, I showed you guys that Microsoft is well over my target. So it's at 27.9% and my target is 22%. So as you can see here, it has not sold off my Microsoft fund to match back up to the target. But you can see here like AT&T is well below its target as of right now. So effectively what would happen is that when I deposit more money into the account, a majority of the money would be going towards AT&T, Apple, and everybody else that's lower than their target, and Microsoft would essentially get nothing at this time. So I could either change the target percentage higher if I wanted to, try to get more into Microsoft, buy into the stock individually like we talked about today, or I could just leave it as it is, and then hopefully everything will kind of catch up, and then eventually Microsoft will start getting some of that in once the percentage is closer to its target, so that way it'll match up where I kind of deemed it worthy to be in my portfolio. So again, it won't sell off any shares unless I actually click the rebalance button, which is right there, which again, it would cause to have a taxable event, and that's not something I personally want to do. And I'm okay with having it the way it is. Now, I want you to keep on learning more when it comes to M1 Finance. So check out my tutorial playlist right over here so you can keep on learning and growing with the platform. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.